Welcome back to the channel. Delighted to have two Liverpool fans on board. Liverpool fans at the minute are absolutely crazy for football, so great to have them on. We're going to be asking the boys about the big game on Saturday, Liverpool Arsenal, how they're feeling towards it. But before that, we've got so much to discuss. We've obviously got the Christmas quiz, so Premier League knowledge is absolutely vital for the quiz. So delighted to have the boys on. But before we start, we're going to talk about the big breaking news today, and that is about the European Super League. So much to get into. But Owen, Keelan, great to have you on board. Owen, let's start with you. How are you feeling ahead of the quiz tonight? You have to put everything on the line. You've got so much at stake. So how are you feeling before the quiz?
I'm pretty sure my knowledge is good enough, so let's see if that comes to fruition.
And Keelan, great to have you back on. Obviously, very difficult man to get this time of year, so very, very pleased that you're coming on. Very busy with the music scene. Your podcast the last time on here was fantastic. I know Owen, who's on tonight, really, really enjoyed it. So how are you feeling about putting your knowledge to the test tonight?
Aye, well, I mean, anything outside Liverpool, you give me anything about Liverpool, I'd smash it, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what it comes to with the Premier League teams and the knowledge of it. But no, it's good to be back on as well.
Brilliant to have you, Keelan. Boys, I tell you what, I thought tonight was all going to be about the quiz, but unfortunately, sometimes there's hiccups, and there's a massive hiccup in football at the moment. The Premier League, the European Super League, which most people thought it was done, but it's come back today. Obviously, it was created by the 12 clubs in 2021 during the COVID. And obviously, there's so much backlash from a lot of people, but most probably the biggest driving factor against it was the fans. And we speak about it often on here about how fans can be the driving force behind a lot of things. And I think that was the reason a lot of the clubs rejected the idea in the end, and they come out and says they made a mistake. The court today cleared UEFA and FIFA of any wrongdoing, and now, and I mean, this isn't a coincidence that all this talk and the plan they have in place was announced shortly after. So obviously it's something in the pipeline. I would imagine the likes of Barcelona, Real Madrid must have had some sort of knowledge that this was going to be announced today, and we've seen the plan. So, Owen, what's your reaction to what's happened today? I mean, we all love our football. I mean, is this the type of stuff that ruins football?
It's like football's going the one way, and it's the rich get richer. But for me, it's just Barcelona and Real Madrid. They just can't keep up with the Premier League anymore, and you've seen it. Their finances is bit to high heaven, so it's just them trying to push it. And we've already seen the likes of Man City, Spurs, Chelsea all come out and reject it, and Man United as well. So hopefully Liverpool follows suit. But I don't think the other English teams coming out and saying that they won't join it. I can't see any other English team joining up for it.
Keelan, what about you? I mean, Owen makes a great point there. There's a lot of opposition towards us, and I suppose the biggest difference this time is a lot of the English teams have come out and opposed this. We know Germany as well are very strong on it, but we're hearing the likes of Barcelona, Real Madrid are driving factors behind this, probably down to the fact the financial disadvantage they have compared to the Premier League. We've seen a couple of weeks ago the new Premier League deal, which provides the Premier League with mega money. So they really don't need this Super League. But we know Barcelona's problems. Real Madrid as well are struggling. Having to sell, they buy. We've seen Bellingham, but they had to let players go. Whereas the English clubs at the minute are having a free reign. I suppose why the likes of Man City, Liverpool have been so successful the last few years. These clubs are really looking for any angle to gain an advantage. And this financial package offering gives them that angle. We're hearing the likes of the Portuguese teams, the Dutch teams are signing up again, obvious reasons. And we've said about Celtic, apparently Celtic and Rangers are all for this as well. We know Scottish football at the minute, TV money-wise, isn't great. So, I mean, are the English teams the reason this isn't happening?
I'd say the English teams is the reason that it will happen. And the reason being is because I think, as you say, the TV rights is compared to any other league in the world. It's the Premier League is the leading. It's the leading league in the world. Barcelona have been figured out, paying referees. many years. Real Madrid probably the same. I mean, um, I think Florentino Perez. I mean, I just get the feeling from that guy that he's a dodgy boy. Like, and I think,
Right
you
there.
know, you look at them's the two teams that most of them South American players want to go to, and there's been dodgy dealings with, you know, whenever Neymar signed for Barcelona back in the day as well, with money being under the table. And you know, if you pay enough money to them big boys and FIFA and UEFA, you're going to get away with it. Like, you know, and I think the only reason, the only fight that we really actually have is the fans going against it, because you know, even a prime example, if you could do them that Super League, no problem, but you're not guaranteed that you're going to get the same fans in the stadium. And it just showed even at the weekend with Liverpool Man United that if you don't get the right fans in the stadium, it doesn't matter how many thousands you put into the stadium. If you don't have the right fans, football's not going to be the same. So
I
you
agree.
could pay the players. The players don't want to play. The players don't want to have that many games. They're pushing more and more, provided or just because of the money. Um, the players will end up going against it. And then the standard, I think, then of, you know, if football really changes, whenever you look in 10, 15, 20 years time, if it is the Super League, what's going to be called the Champions League or the Premier League, or you know, whatever way it's going to be, is you're going to see a drop off in the amount of young children in poor countries around the world, like them South Americans and the Africans and stuff, of actually wanting to get there, because it's just not going to be the same anymore. And I think that's a massive factor. I think it's going to happen. And look, I mean, the only thing we can do really is protest, like the Man United fans were doing. I mean, like, you know, that's really the only thing we can do, because we don't have the money, we don't have the control. But what we do have is a voice in thousands and thousands, and I think that's really all we can do at the minute.
I mean, before I come back to Owen, and I sense you get the same feeling I do, but do you sense that this is a matter of time? Obviously, it's not going to happen now, but do you feel that the stars will align in a way that in 10 years' time, the Super League eventually will be made?
Absolutely, it really is a matter of time, provided that they keep getting away with money. In my opinion, then I just think, as I say, the only reason it might not happen is because of the fans, um, and that's really all we have. Because you know, the likes of teams like Crystal Palace, teams that got there, you know, how are they going to fight against it? Like, you know, you still have all these lower league teams who won't be included in the Super League, and what's going to happen with them is they're just, you know, their viewing rights, their viewing money, you know, that they're not going to be able to they're not going to be able to really compete with any of these teams. They're never going to get to play against them. You're never going to have with the likes of, like, you know, a top side in England going and away to Crystal Palace and getting beat. Like, you know, it's just going to be the same teams playing over and over again, like Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Barcelona, Liverpool, and so on and so forth. Like, I mean, it is going to kill football, and it's just a matter of time if they get away with it.
Before I come on to the quiz zone, I'm going to come back to you to summarise. But I mean, he makes some great points there. So he does, Keelan. I mean, James agrees. Well said. I mean, there's a lot of factors involved here, and I think he makes a great point that when I was thinking about this today, I was thinking this new Super League, if it was to happen now, which it won't, is it much difference to the new Champions League that's being proposed? But when you really look at it, it is really different, because you think about the likes of Porto and Benfica, who are very for this competition. With so much money involved, this now becomes like their prime. Whereas the Champions League in your league is sort of 50-50. Because of the money involved here, the amount of people around the world watching, the amount of viewing it would get. Barcelona, for example, Barcelona Real Madrid in the Super League will be bigger than Barcelona Real Madrid in the La Liga. So it really does sort of put the rest of the leagues down. You know, if Man United are playing Liverpool in the Super League in a massive Wednesday night game, Liverpool's game on a Saturday becomes irrelevant against the likes of, say, Luton, because everyone in the world is focused on this game. So there's so many different factors involved. I mean, what do you think the consequences of this Super League? I mean, do you think for the likes of the smaller teams, a lot of the talk we're hearing is the third tier of this, it gives them an opportunity on league merit. But will the Premier League be destroyed because everybody is so focused on the Super League? Because the Premier League around the world is everyone's baby.
As Keelan said, like if this happens, you're never going to get a Palace going to Liverpool, or a Luton going to Liverpool to take a point off them. So it will be dangerous for the Premier League, because if you're getting the same games week after week, it just dilutes it. Like if Liverpool's playing Man United every other week, it doesn't become as special as it is now. So it is very dangerous. But for me, I don't think it'll happen in the near future. But as you said, I think in the next 10 to 15 years, it is inevitable that it happens. And you don't know. They could, even though it's a European league, they could ask Saudi teams to come in there eventually, and that's a whole different ballgame, man.
I mean, the biggest worry for me is, imagine the Super League comes and then eventually everything progresses. What if we're watching the likes of Man United playing Liverpool in Saudi Arabia, the actual game taking place there, because they're willing to pay more money than God to watch it? You can't rule. Everything starts small. When the Premier League started in 1982, you could never imagine it being as big as it is now. So, Owen, I mean, if the Super League was to go ahead, I think something like that can't be ruled out, that these games will be staged in Asia, Middle East, whoever wants to pay the most money.
100%. You'll be getting Barcelona versus Real Madrid in America. You'll be getting Liverpool versus United in Saudi Arabia and Mexico. But I just leave football the way it is. And don't get me wrong, UEFA and FIFA aren't the good ones in here. They've made some dodgy decisions over the years. I'm not a big fan of the new Champions League format. I think they should have left that as it is. So everyone in football has blood in their hands when it comes to whoever has the most money ultimately wins, which is the sad state of affairs, which I've talked to you about numerous times.
Closing thoughts, Keelan. I mean, it's starting to sound like the Wild West, isn't it? I mean, who's got the most money? Who's got the most guns? I mean, give me your closing thoughts on it.
I mean, you said there about it starts off small. It just brings me back to the Liverpool Man United game. I seen the cameras turn around to the fans. Liverpool had an extra 7,000 fans from their new stand opening, and it was the quietest Anfield's ever been, quoted by Gary Neville. And it just goes to show, I seen the amount of Asians coming over to watch Anfield. It's almost like it's another tourist attraction.
Yep.
It's just another thing to tick off. There's no passion there, and again, they might resellers of tickets. They're going to sell a ticket to whoever's got the most money. You look at the boxing events, you look at the UFC events. What
golf,
a UFC
golf
is an American. I mean, it's an American based company, yet they're fighting in Saudi Arabia, and I mean, it's you're going to lose that passion for football. And also, what I'll say is the players, as we were chatting about earlier, is it will destroy the Premier League. And the reason being as well, if you're playing a big massive game against Real Madrid on a Wednesday night in the Super League, and then, as you said, playing against Luton on the weekend, the likes of Klopp or any of them big managers, if they're still there at that time, which I think a lot of the big managers will leave, should that happen, or the club go into it. But they're going to end up playing, the poorer players, and on a away day against Luton or something like that there. And then again, the quality of football is not going to be as good. Again, you said as well about the smaller teams, it might be easier for them to get promoted and so on and so forth. But it's just there's no real point to it anymore than if the Super League happens. That is eventually it is going to happen, and I do think it's going to happen within the next 5 years. To be honest with you, I don't think it's going to be 10, 15 years. I think it's going to be in the next 5 years.
Kieran, fantastic analysis. Callum was at the game on Saturday, Liverpool United. He was really looking forward to it, and he said to me at half time, he couldn't believe the atmosphere in the stadium. And I will believe it. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to come back to you and finish off. Keelan makes another fantastic point about the quality of football, and that's why we love the Premier League, the quality of the games. This new proposal, if you were to make the final, you could play up to 19 games in this Super League. That's half a season. I mean, is it really sustainable? How many players would there be in a squad, for that kind of competition they haven't? Because
Uh,
as we know, this Super League would involve all the best teams. So
yeah.
you're going to have to play your strongest players to get through.
Yeah.
You're going to have more injuries. And therefore, they're saying it's not going to impact the Premier League, the La Liga, the Bundesliga, the Serie A, and so forth. But it would impact it because it would be completely unsustainable. They play 50, 60 games, and that's not including the cup competitions, which
Uh,
and the UK and Ireland, the FA Cup still holds a very, very close, relationship with a lot of fans. That would
yeah.
completely finish it for me. If it wasn't, I just don't see any way it could take on the same level it is now.
Now you're talking about injuries. We're already seeing it. We're already seeing a rise in injuries this season with the amount of football that's been played now. So could you imagine if it was an extra 19 games a season? They're treating players like robots. Like they get paid a wild lot of money, but they're human beings at the end of the day, and their bodies will break down. So they just don't care. And as Keelan said, it's whoever gets the most money, and that's the sad thing about football. It's not about the passion anymore. It's about who has the biggest pockets.
Well,
It's
lads,
never
sorry, go ahead, Keelan, finish off.
like it's never. It doesn't matter if it's been football or anything. Look, you go to buy a house at an auction. It's whoever bids the biggest money is going to get the house. Like
Yep.
it's simple principles in life, and people who think that this isn't going to happen, I would say are pretty deluded. Like I mean, the game is gone, and it starts off small. It went to China first. Went off to China. Now it's in Saudi Arabia, and now there's the Super League because the big teams in Spain were found out with corruption. So I mean, Man City's 114 charges, Everton's charges. I mean, you imagine now what Chelsea are going to have these eight-year contract deals and things like that. There, like I mean, there's going to be no choice but to play the Super League, to sustain a business and from a club point of view. So I mean, look, game's gone. It really is the prestige.
I think your analysis has been spot on, and I think 18 minutes. This could be the best bit of analysis we've ever had in the podcast because obviously we're coming on here and speaking about it, but I think both of you just spoke so many really. I mean, I think you just spoke for the football word, the two of you, how you spoke in terms of what football should be about and what it shouldn't be about. But I do agree. I think we're going towards dangerous territory. But look, they left the mood. It is Christmas, so let's finish on it. Let's take on a positive side here. Kieran saying they can shove their Super League. Kieran, you wouldn't be saying that if they were Liverpool won it and dancing, you'd be dancing around Waterloo Place.
I
for
will.
a fact.
No, never. No.
But no, look, we're going to lift the mood, liven the spirits. It's Christmas, so we thought we'd do a Christmas quiz. We're going to test the lads on their Premier League and football knowledge. There is a couple of handbrake questions on there that aren't Premier League. Some of them may be Football League or foreign, but I would say 90% of the quizzes is Premier League related. But the Premier League started in 1992, so we're talking 31 years of
Way
possible
before-
questions. So
Way before
not
my
easy
time.
to study for, lads. I mean, I've tried to make it a wee bit easier for you on free and a few Liverpool questions as well. I don't want to embarrass you. It takes a lot of guts to come on and do it.
There should be a close call.
What surprises?
You buy me
Well,
a pint on Saturday night.
Aye,
we're all
that'll
going,
do.
we're all going on a wee bit of a celebration on Saturday. Looking forward to watching
going to
the
the score.
Spurs rocking Everton, the shreds, and maybe
Well-
Liverpool and Arsenal. Bit boring draw probably, but look, we'll see. The prizes are whoever wins keeps their reputation intact. No, I'm only joking.
I don't think I have one to begin with, so it's all right.
The winner between you two, because on both of these on Saturday, will get a £20 note placed in their hand. So there's a bit to play for here. And Kieran, we wanted you on. I know you had a few issues. People coming to the house, but I can't validate your answers. So it wouldn't be fair on the two lads here. I can see them. I know what they're at. So boys, without any further ado, are you ready?
Aye, sure.
So, question 1. The Battle of Bramble Lane is famous because it is the only game in the history of the Football League they have what? So just scribble down what you think. It's famous, and it's the only game that's ever had it. So if you're not sure, and I only came across this about a year ago, so it's not easy, just scribble down what you think might have happened, and we'll come back to it. Question 2. The Premier League started in August 1992, but who scored the first ever goal in a game between Sheffield United and Man United? So I did tell you Premier League knowledge. I mean, that was always going to come up. Who scored the first ever goal?
Ooh.
Question 3. Portsmouth versus Reading is the highest scoring game in Premier League history, but how many goals were scored? So again, if you're not sure, just have a wee stab in the dark, because it is a number, so somebody will get it right. Yeah, there's a couple answers coming in the comments here. Obviously, I can't put them up, but a great answer. They one of the questions there. I will put your answers up at the end when I call out the answers for the boys. Question 4. Darren Bent famously scored via a beach ball against Liverpool in 2009. But what
You had to
team
bring
was he
that up.
playing for? Exactly. What team was Darren Bent playing for when he scored that goal? So again, scribble it down, and we'll come back to it at the end. Question 5. Wimbledon were rebranded in 2004. They what name? A lot of answers coming in the chat here, so a lot of people don't want some of these answers. But again, I can't. These boys could be Google up on the hour hand. So no, I would trust the viewers. They're getting most of them right.
He's struggling.
Oh, struggling isn't even the word. Hey, I'd be lucky to get 4. Hey.
Question 6. Who is the current Coventry manager who scored for Man United in the FA Cup versus Nottingham Forest in a 1-0 that famously saved Sir Alex Ferguson's job?
So he's the current Coventry manager now?
Current Coventry manager, yeah.
Just trying to think of random managers, you know.
And he famously scored in 1990 against Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup, which saved Ferguson's job. Yeah, we have a few names on him.
Never mind being born.
Mates has got the surname right, but he's got the first name wrong. Tell you what, Darren Cassidy's on fire. He's got away 3 or 4 here. Question 7. Pedro Mendes thought he won it for Spurs at Old Trafford in 2005 when he appeared to lob the goalkeeper from the halfway line. But who was in nets for Man United? Famously dropped the ball behind the line. The referee didn't give the goal. Who was the goalkeeper?
I'll give you
a wee clue. He's Northern Irish.
I know who it is. I got it.
You got it. Question 8, and you boys will definitely get this right. In 2014, Steven Gerrard slopped and left a Chelsea player clean through on goal. But who scored the goal?
I thought you meant to cheer us up.
Question 9. Who recorded his only Man City assist? They set up Sergio Aguero. They won the title for Man City in 2012. And question 10 is the final question in this round. How many yellow cards were shown during the Battle of the Bridge between Chelsea and Spurs in 2016? Yeah, a lot of great answers coming in here, lads. Meets and Darn are flying here.
Yes.
Do you want any of them questions repeated? If you're struggling there.
I take a run through the questions just briefly, just again.
Yeah. So question 1, the Battle of Bramble Lane is famous because it is the only game in the history of the Football League they have what? So think about it logically. If you're not sure, think of something that has never happened before that happened in that game. Question 2. The Premier League started in August 1982, but who scored the first ever goal in a game between Sheffield United and Man United? Again, if you're not sure, just think of someone maybe from that time. Question 3. Portsmouth versus Reading is the highest scoring game in Premier League history, but how many goals were scored? Again, not sure, just have a guess. Think about some of the mass scorings we've had and have a guess around that number. Maybe a wee bit higher, obviously. Darren Bent famously scored via a beach ball versus Liverpool in 2009, but what team is he playing for? Again, I think everyone will know that because you can visualise the team.
Yeah.
Wimbledon were rebranded in 2004. What name? Again, that'll be difficult if you don't know it, I would imagine. Who is the current Coventry manager who scored for Man United in the FA Cup against Nottingham Forest and a 1-1 that saved Ferguson's job? Again, common knowledge. Maybe just if you've heard it, you probably know. If not,
I know it's not. I just wrote down a name.
Question 7 was the Pedro Mendes halfway line lob. He was the goalkeeper that famously dropped the ball behind the line. Northern Irish goalkeeper. If you're not sure, have a wee guess. Kieran reckons he's got 10 out of 10. Darren reckons he got 9. Question 8 was the Steven Gerrard slip who scored a goal that left him clean through. Question 9 was who set up Aguero's goal and he's only a Man City assist. They won the title against QPR. And question 10 was how many yellow cards were shown in the Battle of Bridge between Chelsea and Spurs. And again, if you're not sure, just have a guess. Go high, obviously. So, lads, round 2 is different again. So, we're going to go. You have to name the player. You have to name the player. Yeah, you have to name the player I'm trying to describe.
Okay.
So, I'm going to read you out information, and you just have to have a guess of who the player is. So, 5 questions this round. So, question 11. I played for 8 different clubs in the Premier League. 2 clubs broke the British transfer record to sign me. I scored 187 Premier League goals. Who am I? So he's a 4th outright top goal scorer in the Premier League. So I'll read it again. I played for 8 different clubs in the Premier League. 2 clubs broke the British transfer record to sign me. I scored 187 Premier League goals. Who am I?
He's not English, no.
Well, I didn't say if he was English or not.
Oh, British transfer, right.
So
8 different clubs.
He was the most expensive signing twice in the Premier League.
He's played for 8 different clubs.
Yes, I mean, a lot of players have played for a lot of clubs, but the thing that should throw it for you is the 187. Takes a special player for a lot of goals he got. So he's going to be a Premier League legend if he's 4th on the all-time top goal scorer. Question 12. I am regarded as one of the Premier League's greatest ever players. I only played for 1 Premier League club in 2 different spells. I scored my final Premier League goal against Sunderland in 2012. I have also played in France, Spain, and America. Who am I? So I'll repeat that again. I am regarded as one of the Premier League's greatest ever players. I only played for 1 Premier League club in 2 different spells. I scored my final Premier League goal against Sunderland in 2012. I have also played in France, Spain, and America. Who am I?
Did you say you only played for 1 Premier League club?
In 2 different spells.
2 different spells, right?
Kieran, your first answer is wrong. Darren, your first answer is wrong. Darren, your second answer is right.
I still haven't wrote anything down for the first one. I'm going.
Have a stab at art. Question 13. I have played for Leeds, Newcastle, and Man City, where I won the Premier League. But I won the Premier League and the Champions League with another English club after Man City. Who am I? So I have played for Leeds, Newcastle, and Man City in that order. I won the Premier League at Man City, but I won the Premier League again with another club and also the Champions League. Who am I? Darren, your second answer is right. Kieran, your answer is right.
I'm dying to know.
Question 14. I am a Premier League winning captain. I have played for and managed Spurs. Who am I?
Well, definitely wasn't
I am a
He
Premier
definitely
League
won.
one. I am a Premier League winning captain. I have played for and managed Spurs. Who am I? So again, Premier League means had he happened
Right.
after 90. So had he play after 1982 and managed them before now. So
And he played for Spurs.
played for and managed Spurs after he won the Premier League.
Well, he definitely didn't want to. He didn't want to.
There you go. Warren Cassidy, first one, 100% right. Question 15 and final round on this final question in this round. I have made over 400 Premier League appearances across 4 different clubs, but I am mostly remembered for scoring own goals. I made 80 caps for the Republic of Ireland. Who am I? So I'll read it out again. I made over 400 Premier League appearances across 4 different clubs, but I am remembered mostly for scoring own goals. I made 80 caps for the Republic of Ireland. Who am I? Yeah, it meets. Yeah, you've the answer right. But the question 14 was, I am a Premier League winning captain. I played for and managed Tottenham. Who am I? So yes, you're right. He won it. He won the Premier League with our team. He also played for Spurs after.
They
And
play
managed
for
Spurs after.
Rangers.
Not sure.
He's Italian.
No, wrong line. Definitely.
No.
Not Italian.
That's what I was thinking as well.
He's happy enough. I've read them out a couple of times. He's happy enough that round.
Nah.
If he's want, what I'll do is I'll come back at the very end and read for you any question you're not sure with. So round 3 is name the year it happened.
Oh.
So again, if you're not sure, have a stab. Question 16. Blackburn won the Premier League.
What say that again?
Question 15 or question 16. Blackburn won the Premier League. The year Blackburn won the Premier League. What year was it?
Oh.
Darren and Michie's are both very close, but no, he's wrong. James, yeah, first and James got it right. Question 17. Rafa Benitez claims he's not playing mind games and brandishes facts against Sir Alex Ferguson in a press conference. What year did that happen?
I'm between 2, and I know it's one of them. I just don't know which one.
Exactly. You have to name the year it happened. So I'm not interested in the season it happened. I'm only answer. Can only be one answer.
I see. I know the season that happened. I don't know what part of the season.
Question 18. Wigan beat Man City. They won the FA Cup.
What year?
Yeah, these are all year questions.
I think it was Ben Watson scored in the final, wasn't it?
Ben Watson scored, yeah. Great answer. Question 19. Blackpool promoted to the Premier League. So, the day they won the playoff final, what year was it?
Again, I'm between 2. Was it 2? Let me see. I think it was.
And question 20. Kevin Keegan will love it if they beat them. Love it. What year did he say that? So Newcastle and Man United were in the title race. What year did that happen? Is there any ones there in that round you're not sure you want to repeat again, or?
No, I'm all good.
I'll go through them again quickly. Blackburn won the Premier League. Rafa Benitez claims he's not playing mind games and brandishes facts against Sir Alex Ferguson. Wigan beat Man City. They won the FA Cup. Blackpool are promoted to the Premier League, and Kevin Keegan will love it if they beat them. Love it. Again, some good answers there. Kieran, I think you were wrong on the Benitez and wrong on the Blackpool. These are very close. Darren Cassidy got the year of Keegan.
It was definitely before I was born. Anyway, that's what I'm going off.
Round 4, lads, is Connect the Club. 5 questions on Connect the Club. I'm going to read you out 3 players. You have to connect these 3 players to one club.
Right.
So, question 21: Peter Crouch, Craig Bellamy, and Joe Cole. Keelan's know he's got one right now, Law. There he goes, Law.
Hey,
Question.
secretly on their own.
That could be a lot of
Question.
clubs too because they play for a lot of teams, then boys.
Well, most of these lads have. Darn, yeah, spot on. Question 22: Stephen Pienaar, Danny Murphy, and William Gallas.
Mm.
Keelan's starting to run there. Keelan's feeling he's confident this round. I can see it in his face there.
I've wrote the first 2 down there. Don't know if they're right.
Stephen Pienaar, Danny Murphy, and William Gallas. Darn, yeah, spot on, 2-2. Kieran, wrong with the second one.
These are some good questions here. Gets you thinking.
Question 23: James Beattie, Shane Long, and Theo Walcott.
Got it.
Question 24: Mark Hughes, Gary Lineker, and Kevin Prince Boateng.
Kevin Prince Boateng.
Yeah. And as I said, now not all these are Premier League
No.
related, so maybe think outside the box on this one.
That's
No,
fine.
it's not a Premier League club, is it? This is a throwaway, so
Oh, it's not
not a Premier League club.
Name the players again.
Mark Hughes, who managed Man City, that Mark Hughes, Gary
Got it.
Lineker,
Got
Match
it. Got it.
and Kevin Prince Boateng.
Got it.
Yeah, darn spot on. I think you're 4-4.
I think I'm right.
And the final one in this round: Scott Sinclair, Scott Kjærsen, and David Seaman.
Scott Sinclair. That's a name I haven't heard in donkeys. Scott Kjærsen. Who was the last one?
Scott Sinclair, Scott Kjærsen, and David Seaman. Kieran says, fuck them set of questions are hard. Well, they're not meant to be easy. Great shout, Darren. 5 out of 5, Darren Cassidy in this round. And he's been on pretty quickly, so I would suggest he wouldn't be able to search that out in time. So great shooting, Darren.
Do you think you've got any of them, Ken?
And the last 5 questions is an our general knowledge round. So,
right.
Question 26: Who scored the last ever goal at White Hart Lane in a game between Spurs and Man United? So, who in 2017 it was? So, who scored the last ever goal at White Hart Lane in 2017 in a game between Spurs and Man United? Question 27: How many teams have never been relegated from the Premier League?
I'm going to write the teams down just so I can think of it in my head.
Your presence is mad.
Not yet.
Question 28. And by the way, when you don't get any points for the teams you name, you have to name how many.
No, I'm just writing them down so I can get the number right.
Kieran answers wrong, Callum's answers wrong, and Darren Cassidy's answers wrong as well. No one's got this one right so far. Question 28. Derby County achieved the lowest points tally in 2007-8. How many points did they get?
Someone could be on the break at this
So far,
season.
no one's got the answer right on that relegation one. Causing a bit of bother this one.
Yeah.
Hopefully my research is right, because I'll be embarrassed if I've got the wrong answer. But I think I've got it right. Darn, no, wrong answer. Wasn't that many points. Question 29. Arsenal went unbeaten in 2003-4, but how many games out of 38 did they won? And the final question: How many clubs has Sam Allardyce managed in the Premier League?
Oh, sweet and gentle. Right. So
Too many sausage
I'll
rolls.
read out
Indeed.
them 5 questions one more time.
you're right there.
Who scored the last ever goal at White Hart Lane in a game between Spurs and Man United? How many teams have been relegated from the Premier League?
Not relegated, you mean?
Derby. Sorry, how many teams have never been relegated yet? Sorry. Derby County achieved the lowest ever points tally in 07-08, but how many points did they get? Arsenal went unbeaten in 03-04, but how many games out of 38 did they win? And how many clubs has Sam Allardyce managed in the Premier League? I'm going to give you 2 more minutes there. They have a think on someone you're not sure on, and I'm going to come back to it.
Is this current Premier League clubs that he's managed? Who's in the league right now, or
Any
ever?
team he managed whilst they were in the Premier League?
Right.
Callum, spot on with the Arsenal question.
So I know he managed seasons.
Up there, hey.
The Sam Allardyce one, I don't have a clue.
Just give it a wild guess. Just
I'm currently writing down clubs that I know he's managed just to see if I can remember anymore.
bring them together. Just
Who else has he managed? Right, this one.
Now, it's a hard quiz. You'll not need a big tally. Even watching the comments here, I think a lot of these lads were playing fairly. Maybe even get low enough numbers. The most when I tested on a few fellas today, 12 is the highest score. Out of the 30. Callum, you've got the Sam wrong. So what I'm going to do is there's a lot of people commenting here, so I'm going to put up some of the right answers for the lads. And then before we go off air, we're going to speak a wee bit about the Liverpool and Arsenal game at the weekend. So he's happy enough. He's maxed out. Any answers you think?
I can't think of any more.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you to read out your answers for every question, obviously. So I want it to be, because there's a few mad ones on there. And look, quizzes are hard. So you can always have a few mad ones on there. So question 1: the Battle of Bramble Lane is famous because it's the only game in the history of the Football League to have what? Oh, and what did you put down for that?
I put down an ineligible player, Carlos Tevez. No.
And interestingly, nobody in the chat got this right that was watching. So maybe it's only one I know.
That's what
you
I
put down what? Sorry, an eligible player. Keelan, what did you put down?
I don't know. I wrote ghost goal.
Ghost goal. Plenty of ghost goals as we've seen with Roy Carroll, and one of the answers coming up. But look, the answer is it was the only game that had to be abandoned due to one team having insufficient number of players. So Sheffield United got 3 players sent off, and then they 2 players injured. So they end up you have to have at least 7 players.
What teams is that?
Sheffield United and West Brom. It was a championship game. So it was the only game that couldn't be finished.
You said Football League. I forgot about that.
Football League. So it's the only game that couldn't be finished due to insufficient number of players. So 0 each there. No answer. Question 2. The Premier League started in August 1982, but who scored the first ever goal in a game between Sheffield United and Man United? Any answers? Any clues here?
I put down Eric Cantona.
Eric Cantona.
Nothing.
Keelan? Nothing. And the answer was Darren Cassidy. I was on first with Brian Dean. So great answer, Brian. Or Darren. Question 3. Portsmouth versus Reading was the highest scoring game in Premier League history, but how many goals were scored? What did you put down on?
14.
14. What did you put down, Keelan?
Buffer. Buffer there. No, 13-2. I wrote just
13. 11. Portsmouth won 7-4. So that's the highest scoring game in Premier League history. Again, nobody got that right. Question four.
Yeah, that was 8-0, wasn't it?
No, 740 Portsmouth. 11 goals.
11 goals, and then there was games where 9-0, wasn't it? 9-0, Southampton.
Couple of 9-0. So I had a feeling you would have went higher than that, but you probably went a wee bit too high.
Spurs beat Wigan 2-9-1, I think, in a year as
9-1.
well.
I think United won a game 9-1 too against Ipswich, I think it was. So 10 as Spurs also beat Reading 6-4 in the same season as that. So Reading were conceding a lot of goals that year.
I think years ago too, Liverpool beat Palace 9-0 or something. 8-0.
Question 4. Darren Bent famously scored via a beach ball against Liverpool. What team was he playing for? Owen, what did you put down?
Sunderland.
Keelan? Sunderland. He's confident in that one?
Yep.
Yeah, he's right. Darren Cassidy was first time with Sunderland. So he's a 1. You can mark yourself 1 there.
On the game show or whatever, and it was like when she had 3 options.
I seen that she
ball in the van. She went for
ice cream truck or something. Ice cream truck. Classic. Imagine that. Question 5, lads. Wimbledon were rebranded in 2040. What name?
MK Dons.
What do you put down, Keelan?
Nothing. I don't know.
One spot on me, MK Dons. Great shout out. The MK Dons, they were relocated. And of course, there's a massive rivalry. Now, you'll obviously know about AFC Wimbledon. So they were reformed after that as well. But the original Wimbledon, the one Vinnie Jones played for, is now the MK Dons.
That's where Dele Alli came from, wasn't it? MK Dons.
Kieran also got that one right. Kieran got Sunderland right as well.
All right, Kieran's up showing off here, lad.
So, who was the current commentary manager who scored for Man United in the FA Cup versus Nottingham Forest and a 1-0 win famously saved Fergie's job? Any ideas here?
I know it's wrong, but I put down Steve Bruce because that's the only name I could think of.
Keelan?
Nothing. I couldn't think of it because I know Michael Carrick's managing Middlesbrough, but he that time.
Kieran put on Mark Robinson, but he was wrong. The answer was Robbins. Robbins was the man who saved Ferguson's job and now obviously manages commentary. He says it was a spelling mistake. I think on down. Tell you what, Kieran, there's a few spelling mistakes on here. All the answers. But great effort. Mark Robbins, 1980, saved Ferguson's job. There was a banner actually put up in the away end that something like 3 or 4 years, no success, this is failure. And Robbins famously saved his job with that goal. The rest is really history, unfortunately, for United fans or for Liverpool fans. Ferguson was only dominant then. Obviously, Mourinho, Wenger put up opposition, but United were very, very dominant under his spell. Question 7. Pedro Mendes thought he won it for Spurs at Old Trafford in 2005 when he appeared to lob the goalkeeper from the halfway line, but he was in nets for United. Let's get this one.
Roy Carroll.
Keelan?
I had no idea.
No idea. So we're marking a 1-1 down. Owen's up 3-1 here. I think there was a few get that right as well.
Every time I see that goal, I think, how the hell did they not get that? Like,
he stared at the linesman that long too, made it look obvious. Question 8.
That was 2005 or something.
2005. In 2014, Steven Gerrard slapped and left a Chelsea player clean free on goal to score a goal, but who was it? Keelan, any ideas here?
Demba
Ba was right.
That's still haunts me to this very day.
Kieran was first on with Demba Ba. I'm sure I'll never forget that moment. One of them things in football, boys, you just can't get over, can you? I mean, Liverpool battered them all the game.
We set up pretty defensively.
So 4-2. Owen's up. Question 9. Who recorded his only assist to set up Sergio Aguero to win the title for Man City in 2012? Any ideas here, lads?
Balotelli.
Balotelli.
Yeah.
Good answer, lads. Balotelli was the answer. Kieran put up Balotelli. Not sure about that. But we'll give you the point. I think you meant Balotelli. Darren was on me Balotelli as well. So 5-3. It's not doing too bad there. Final round in this question, and final question in this round. How many yellow cards were shown during the Battle of the Bridge between Chelsea and Spurs in 2016? Any ideas?
I put 17.
17. What'd you put down, Keelan?
16.
13.
I was closer, so I get a point.
And nobody get that right. With if you put on 9, 10, 6, nobody get 13. So interestingly, what's up?
It feels like there was a lot more than that.
12 players on field were booked, 9 Spurs players, and 1 on the bench. Mike Vorm was booked as well. He was on the pitch.
There was no red cards, wasn't there? Or was there? No
red cards, but I think now, if it had been in this day and age, the way we see managers booked and subs booked more often, it probably would have been a lot more. So scores after round 1, 5-3. Honestly, I don't think that. I think that was the hardest round, so he didn't do too bad. Question 11, round 2 was the Who Am I round. I played for 8 different Premier League clubs, and 2 clubs broke a British transfer record. They signed me. I scored 187 Premier League goals. Owen, who did you put down for that one?
Teddy Sheringham.
Who did you put down, Keelan?
I had no idea. Hey. Couldn't think.
You had no idea. The answer was somebody put it up. I think. No one got this one. It's Andy Cole.
I had him down there, scored him out.
Newcastle. I played for Newcastle, Man United, Man City, Fulham, a few other ones as well.
I had him down. I had him down.
187 Premier League goals, 4th outright on the list.
Did he play for Man City as well, or did I make that up?
Man City, yeah, he played for Man City, Man United, Fulham, Newcastle, and a few hours as well, and loan spells and stuff. Towards that back end of his career, but Newcastle signed him, I think, for 2.75 million. They broke a record, and then United signed him for 6 million, and that broke a record then. So from Newcastle,
that wouldn't even get you a bang average player these days.
I know, and at the time, Newcastle and United were massive rivals because Newcastle were the team putting up the opposition. So it's one of them ones. If you had watched Premier League goals, you would have knew the answer. Question 12. I am regarded as one of the Premier League's greatest ever players. I only played for one Premier League club in 2 different spells. I scored my final Premier League goal against Sunderland in 2012. I played in France, Spain, and America. Who am I? Who'd you say, Keelan?
Thierry Henry.
And who'd you say, one?
Henry as well.
These are both spot on. Thierry Henry. These can mark ourselves down there. So 6-4. A lot of right answers in that one. I think that was easy enough, that one. Kieran's right with Henry as well. Question 13. I played for Leeds, Newcastle, and Man City, but won the Premier League and the Champions League with another English club. Who am I? Owen, what did you put down for that one?
Jimmy Milner.
Kieran?
James Milner.
James Milner's correct. And Darren's on with Milner as well. He was the first on for that one. Again, hey, what a career that man's had, hey?
Yeah. Finishing off with Brighton.
Finished off with Brighton. Kieran's got that one as well. So, what are we, 7-5?
Nah.
You're doing rightly, lads. Keelan, you beat me that. I think you had 4 right, so you're doing right. Question 14. I am a Premier League winning captain. I played for and managed Spurs. Who am I? Owen?
I didn't write anything down. I couldn't get it.
No. Keelan?
I was thinking either Juninho or Gianfranco Zola for some reason. Was there not like a Brazilian player? What was or maybe it was Dutch or something?
I think Zola played for Chelsea.
Klinsmann, Jurgen Klinsmann. That's what I'm thinking of. Fucking Juninho.
You're on the right lines. Around that time he played for Spurs. but he won the Premier League with Blackburn. He was their captain, and Darren Cassidy has it here. It was Tom Sherwood.
The biggest clown in media today.
He was the captain of Blackburn when they won the league.
Because he won it with Kenny Dalglish.
Yeah.
Damn it.
I wouldn't have got that.
No. And question 15. I have made over 400 Premier League appearances across 4 different clubs, but I am mostly remembered for scoring own goals. I made 80 caps for the Republic of Ireland. Who am I? What'd you put down for this?
Richard Dunn.
Keelan?
John O'Shea.
Richard Dunn was correct.
Because
Unlucky.
the only reason I got that was the 4 different clubs, because I think John O'Shea only played for United and Sunderland, if I don't remember.
Kieran put down Paul McGrath. That was unlucky. Good effort as well. But Richard Dunn, most own goals scored in the Premier League. So I thought that was the key to the question.
I thought that was Jamie Carragher. He mustn't be far off. Like
Carragher was second. So round 3 was name the year. I think Owen, you're up 8-5.
Not doing too
Blackburn
bad.
won the Premier League. What did you put down for that?
93.
Kieran?
I put down 96-7.
95, lads. Very unlucky. Durham
Oh,
was the first on my 95.
I think 93 was the first. No, I think United won it in 93, didn't they?
Was that the year Bruce? They were on the pitch. Ferguson
think
was it
so,
maybe.
yeah. Damn it.
Question 17. Rafa Benitez claims he's not playing mind games and brandishes facts against Sir Alex Ferguson. Oh, what did you put down?
No, it's either 2008 or 2009. So I went with 2009.
Keelan?
2007 I went.
Owen's right with 2009.
Come on.
9-5. Starting to build up now. Again, Kieran was close with 04. But he was unlucky. Question 18. Wigan beat Man City to win the FA Cup. Keelan, what did you put down?
2012.
Owen?
2013, you're a year out.
2013 it was. He's nailed you a couple of close ones. 10-5. He's only double digits now. What he's doing rightly. 10 out of 18. Nobody got that one right on the chat. Blackpool promoted to the Premier League. Owen, what did you put down for that one?
2010.
Keelan?
Same as that.
Correct. Great shout, lads. He's the only 2 who got that right. If you put on 14, 15.
I remember because it was like the absolute brutal Liverpool team that was starting to get into then.
They beat us twice.
He went and signed their best player, didn't he?
Charlie Adam. I think Blackpool did the double over us that season, if I remember right.
11-6. Final question this round. Kevin Keegan will love it if we beat them interview. What year was that?
96, I put down.
Keegan?
Same as that. 96.
Spot on. Darren Cassidy was first on my 96.
Try not to myself now here, hey.
12-7, lads. So again, there's a few out there at the stage. You need a massive turnaround, Kilo. Round 4, connect the club. Peter Crouch, Craig Bellamy, and Joe Cole. What do you put down, Kilo?
Liverpool.
Owen?
Same as.
Yeah, these are both spot on with that. Darren Cassidy was first on with Liverpool.
The
Flying
fact that we signed Joe Cole always baffles me.
So we're 13-8. 22 was a lot harder. Stephen Pienaar, Danny Murphy, and William Gallas. So what do you put down?
Spurs.
Keelan?
No idea.
Owen spot on my Spurs. None of them had successful spells at Spurs, so it was a difficult one. Gallas was obviously remembered for Chelsea, Arsenal, Murphy at Liverpool, Fulham, Pienaar, Everton. So it's a difficult one. 14-8 in Owen's favour. 23, Beattie, Long, and Walcott. Owen, what do you put down?
Southampton.
Keelan?
Southampton.
Spot on. Darren Cassidy was flying these ones. James also got that one. Southampton. 15-9. Mark Hughes, Gary Lineker, and Kevin Prince Boateng. Keelan, what do you think on that one?
Barcelona.
Owen,
I also put down Barcelona.
these are both wrong.
Ooh,
When he's
who
up,
was it?
great answer. Not with Barcelona.
I was going to say,
Great
no, we are not wrong.
I was panicking there. I was thinking,
Who was
you
that?
should mark it.
It was at this point Kieran gave up. He says, "Fuck, I'm set of questions."
Hopefully,
Dolan,
now,
Dolan's on my Barcelona as well.
Good shot, Don.
What are we? 16-10. And the final round now was general knowledge again. Who scored the last ever goal White Hart Lane in a game between Spurs and Man United?
I think there's one more question in that one. You put Scott Sinclair, Scott Carson.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Scott Sinclair, Scott Carson, and David Seaman. Who'd you put down on?
I put Preston.
Preston. And what about you, Keelan?
Man City.
Keelan is absolutely spot on. What an answer. That was probably the hardest out of the five. And Darren Cassidy was the only one in the chat to get that right as well.
Nice. Scott Sinclair played for Man City in like 2012 or something.
16-11.
Good shot.
Now,
Good shot.
Keelan would need to get all 5 questions right, and you get them all wrong for a draw, and then have to think of a tiebreaker question on the spot. So when you only need one more answer right, they have won this quiz. So I mean, who scored the last ever goal at White Hart Lane in the game between Spurs and Man United?
I had 2 written down. I scored one out. I'm going to go with Rooney.
Keelan?
No, I just went for Harry Kane.
Both of them scored in the game. But who scored the last goal?
Oh,
I can tell you that Harry Kane scored the last ever Spurs goal. The last goal in the game went to Wayne Rooney.
Yeah, I knew it.
Spurs won the game 2-1. So what are you up to now when you're up to 17?
17 now.
17-11. Question 27. How many teams have never been relegated from the Premier League? What did you put down, Keelan?
I wrote 5.
5. Owen?
I put down 4. I know I don't get extra points. I was able to put Liverpool, Man United, Everton, and Arsenal.
So Spurs was another one.
Oh, forgot about them clowns.
The answer is actually 9. You've the 6 ever presence, plus Brighton, Brentford, and Luton, who have never been relegated since their promotion.
Well, fuck.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I never saw
So
that.
it was a bit of a trick question.
Never thought of that.
We had 6, we had 7, we had 10, we had 8. So actually 9 was the answer. So you've the 6 ever presence, and then you've got the 3 teams that have never been relegated since they come up. So it was a bit of a trick question.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So 28 was Derby achieved the lowest ever points tally in 07-08. How many points did they get?
12.
Keelan?
I went for 13, but I'm thinking it's 11.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to change your answer? I'll give you the option before I call it right here.
I'm going for I'll go. I said 13 first, so I'll stick with 13. But I know it's 11. Like.
Well, up to you. Well, we'll give you 11 because 11's spot on, and you're the only person to get it right.
I said 12, damn it.
16-12. Arsenal went unbeaten in 03-04. How many games did they win? Owen?
25.
Keelan?
I wrote 27. I thought they had 11 draws. Or they might have had 13 draws.
Yeah, almost spot on with 26-12 draws.
I was one off in the last 2.
Both these are in the middle there. He went 25, he went 27 or 27, 25.
No.
And finally, how many clubs does Sam Allardyce manage in the Premier League? Many do you think, lads?
I put down Bolton, Newcastle, Sunderland, West Ham, Everton, and Leeds. I can't think of any more than that. So that's 1, 2, 6.
I wrote 7. I haven't a clue. Just guessed 7.
9.
Who was the other?
Who'd you call it?
I said Bolton, Newcastle, Sunderland, West Ham, Everton, and Leeds.
Palace, Everton, and Bolton.
That's nuts.
I forgot about who was it you said again?
Palace, Everton, and Bolton.
I forgot about Palace. I got the R2. I forgot about Palace.
You've Everton and Bolton on there?
I do, yeah.
Blackburn. You Blackburn in there?
No, I forgot about them too.
And he was at Newcastle. You've Newcastle?
I've Newcastle, Sunderland, West Ham, Everton, Leeds, and Bolton.
Palace was our one.
Palace.
There's 9 on it. There's 9 on there. Definitely 9. Crazy. How many clubs that man's managed. But that was the final scores then. Was it 16 or 17, 12? 16, 12?
Yep.
Good boys, good scores. Keelan, you leveled an Orla test on today with 12, and I thought 12 would be hard to beat, but Owens put on a cracker, scored 17 there, so I would say he's a worthy winner. Did you enjoy the quiz, lads?
That was good crack.
Congratulations. Fair play. 20 € up now for.
I'll be spending it all around the free beers. Nothing Saturday, I tell you.
I'm sure one will be generous with 20 quid. Liverpool one, he'd be showing around the place. But your €20 wouldn't last you long these days. But look, guys, thanks for coming on. Really enjoyed the quiz. Thanks for everyone to took part as well. Before we go off, I think it would be a shame not to talk about the big game at the weekend. So let's get on it, lads. Let's start with you, the champion here, the quiz. How are you feeling ahead of such a huge game this weekend? It's a top 2 in the Premier League. I know Villa, if they won tomorrow night, could go top. But it's on a level playing field at the moment. Same amount of games played, so they are the 2 top teams up to now in terms of points. How crucial is it? But most importantly, how are you feeling ahead of it?
I mean, if you had have asked me after the United game, I was breaking it because of the way we played. But I know West Ham were very poor last night, and Arsenal are obviously a level above. But if we can play like that against Arsenal, I give us any chance of getting the result. But as Klopp said, he wasn't happy with the atmosphere again last night either. So we need the crowd to be on full song if we have any chance. But if you ask me now, I wouldn't say no to a draw. Like.
Darren just saying they enjoyed the quiz. Darren, thanks for taking part. I think out of the boys were playing, you definitely the most in the chat. I'm not sure if you'd have beat a 1, but 17 out of 30, I think is a very strong return on some of them questions being difficult. Keelan, I mean, I think Owen makes a great point there. The atmosphere lacked against United. I'm not sure if that's due to the extra stand or maybe a lot of tourists. Hard to know why. He wasn't too happy with the crowd against West Ham as well, because he makes a great point. Liverpool played really, really well. You can point to West Ham being poor, but I mean, it's always about both, about one team being brilliant and another team maybe even slightly off it. You can't always say that team was bad and whatever. You still have to go out and do the business. And Liverpool thought they were brilliant. They moved the ball a lot quicker. And look, let's be honest, West Ham are a very, very sound defensive team. I know they lost 5 to Fulham, but rarely do they lose by that margin. I think Fulham was their only defeat in their last 6 or 7 in the league. So they are a pretty sound defensive team. But Liverpool are very, very good. So, I mean, how are you feeling coming into the game on Saturday? It's a massive game, I think. We've been so tight at the top. These 2, in my opinion, I think, could come down to between the 2 of them. You know, as much as I have my Spurs hat on, I think we're doing well. I think we're not consistent enough. I think Man City are definitely off it. So these 2 teams are on my right shout this year. I mean, how are you feeling?
Look, to be honest with you, I think there's a lot of factors to the game. Again, atmosphere being one. It's listening to the crowd, even on the TV, and I'm sure boys who've been at the game. Like, I mean, it's it's not a great feeling. Like, and Klopp's not happy. I mean, that kind of upsets a bit of the momentum of the players as well. But I think it depends on who plays in terms of result. I wouldn't be happy with a draw. We had to go to City and draw for us to beat them at home. I think we have to win at home, and we have to draw against Arsenal away as well if we're going to push anything for the title. I do think it's going to be down to Arsenal and Liverpool. But I personally, if Joe Gomez plays right back and he has a good game, we'll win.
Would you? And I think that's a great point, because I think the same. Is this the game you start Trent from minute 1 in the middle and play Gomez at right back?
Yeah. The reason for it is because of the momentum and how quick he moves the ball. with too many players against Man United. Dillian and Dalian's simple 5 yard passes were absolutely horrendous. I couldn't believe what I was watching. Like, I mean, you can say that United defended well and they done this and they done that. United are absolutely disgusting to watch, and Liverpool were just as bad.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to have Szoboszlai needs to get into the rhythm of the Premier League. I think he is a wee bit overhyped, because he can, because of the start he had to the season. But in terms of the way the ball moves in midfield, if you want to play against the top level side, you want to play real hard level football, you have to move the ball, and it has to come from midfield. If you slow the ball down in any sort of way, you forget about it, because let's not forget, Arsenal one of the best defensive records, if not the best defensive records in the league this season. So I think it's down to
Interestingly, both Liverpool and Arsenal have conceded the least amount of goals with 15 each.
How's that?
But look, I mean, there's a few discussions going in the chat here. I'm going to come back to you, and I'm going to come back to Keelan again. Darren's saying about a big bonus having Gravenberch back for his legs, and he play Nunez on the left and Gakpo for the middle. Callum has a different view. He's thinking Trent on beside Endo on a double pivot. Maybe he means as well, maybe playing Nunez off the left as well, maybe actually, and Gakpo through the middle. And Callum's was at the game on Sunday. He's also said he's never seen the Liverpool lose, and he's going to the game again this Saturday. I mean, Owen, a lot of interesting discussions there about the team. I think, funny enough, he hasn't been mentioned, but I thought he was outstanding last night. Was Jones? I mean, what way would you go with the team? I mean, I know that the back four is pretty set. I mean, apart from maybe the interesting debate about Gomez and Trent, would you bring Trent on the midfield? But I mean, go and give me your starting 11 for Saturday, and what way you would go?
I agree with Keelan. Like, Gomez has to come on a right back for me. Trent in midfield, but 1 to 11, I'll go Alisson, Van Dijk, Konate, Tsimikas, Gomez, Trent, Jones, Szoboszlai, Salah, Gakpo, Nunez. That's where I would do.
And what about you, Owen? Or what about you, Keelan? I mean, what way would you go? I think a lot is divided a lot of opinion. I think because of Jones' performances last night, a lot of people are humming and hawing. I've seen Gravenberch's name mentioned. I mean, what way would you go?
Alisson, Konate, Van Dijk, Tsimikas, Gomez. I would have Endo, Trent, and I would have Szoboszlai ahead of them, or Jones. I think the problem maybe there with those two is Jones. If he's probably going to be thinking now, because of his performance, that he's going to start. It's almost like he probably has it now and is going to start. And I think if you don't start him, he could be very ineffective because his mind's not in the game to come off the bench. So I think that could be a factor. Szoboszlai, if he gets licensed to roam forward and he moves the ball quick, will be very effective and should start. Gravenberch won't be. I don't think it's a game to start him in, because he's been out for a wee while. I think he was out there for 2 games or something like that. There was he? Was he injured?
No, I think he only missed the West Ham game. He started against United.
A few interesting conversations. Jones, a lot of people calling for Jones. They come on. Szoboszlai doesn't play well with Gravenberch. Darren says he would go with Endo, Trent, and he's left a player, doesn't he? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. 8.
I go Nunez on the left, Salah on the right.
Trent, I think that I guess this is nasty, Mike, because I'm convinced Endo will play, because it's Arsenal. You want that defensive solidarity. Trent will play, but it's where he plays. And I have a feeling he's going to move on the midfield, because Liverpool look better when he's played midfield. And Gomez at right back's been doing okay. And again, I think Arsenal's not going to do what United did and sit back on their half and their own third. But I think they're going to happily surrender the ball and make themselves difficult to beat and punch when they get a chance and back their quality when it comes. I don't think they're going to open up. One, they've got a horrendous record at Anfield. And even last year, they scored 2 goals and then won the game, and they were under so much pressure at the end. I think Arsenal's going to try and punch a 1-0 or a 2-1. I can't see Arsenal saying, you have a shot, we have a shot. Because Arsenal's front three, in my opinion, isn't as good as Liverpool. So there's a lot of different ways to go. But I think the biggest decision he's got to make is Szoboszlai, Jones, or Gravenberch. One of them three. I think everyone else picks himself. If we're going on the fact that Gomez plays right back, I think he plays Trent and Endo. So it's a toss-up between one of them three. I don't know how he's feeling, Keenan.
I personally, I think the biggest thing that he needs to figure out, if it depends what you're looking for. Szoboszlai, in terms of technical and moving the ball a lot quicker, I would actually say Jones, because he's learned a lot more compared to watching him last season. I mean, even at the back of last year, compared to the start of the year, he moves the ball a lot quicker. He's more progressive with the ball. Szoboszlai, he's a big fella, but I don't think he's coping well with the physicality of it. I think he still thinks he's too much more time. But I actually think you see Arsenal.
I think you're spot on. The midfield for you go away is Endo, Trent, and Jones, because I think Jones gives you a wee bit more energy and a wee bit more the wow factor. I think Szoboszlai's been very good. He's had a wee bit of an off, but I think he's a victim of his own success. He's had a really, really good start. Expectations are high. But I think if Trent's in there, what does Szoboszlai give you that Trent can't give you in a way? Very similar players. I know Szoboszlai scored a great goal the other night, but I just think Jones is a wee bit different. I mean, how do you feel?
I agree with Keenan. Like, for me, if it comes down to Jones and Szoboszlai for this particular game, I go with Jones, because you seen last night, Jones, when he's on the ball, like, he's a very good technical player. I just think with him, it's very mental with him. He could have one good game and then be out of the team for a while. And as Keenan says, when he comes on, is he going to be on the right mindset? So for me, he has to start at the weekend.
Darren reckons Arsenal won't sit back, and that's why Gravenberch might benefit. I don't know. Keelan, do you expect Arsenal to try and go toe-to-toe at Anfield? I just don't see it.
If Trent plays right back, they'll go for it, because Martinelli will tear him a new one down the side. But I think if Gomez plays in there and Trent moves in the midfield, it'll be down to the balance it'll be down to who's more balanced to let Trent roam, because you have Endo sitting back, but you need another player that's more balanced. And I think both Jones and Szoboszlai are very progressive players, but I think Jones, if he's not too emotional with the game and he proper humbles himself now with training for the game, I think he's best suited, because he'll be more disciplined.
Yep.
Szoboszlai kind of just, sometimes when I watch him, I think he just kind of fades in and out of the games. Like, there's no real, he still hasn't learned the discipline yet of what it is in his Liverpool role. I mean, he's the hungry captain, yes, but I still think he needs to learn a lot of discipline in terms of his role in the team. But I think Arsenal are going to come out hammers of hell if Trent plays right back. I can't see why, they wouldn't like.
I think Szoboszlai, over the last few games, his decision making's let him down, shooting from crazy spots of the pitch, passing, maybe trying to be too smart with them Trent kind of passes, and they're going into play. And you have to realize that he's still a young player. He's a massive reputation in what he's doing with Hungary. Came as a Hungarian wizard, obviously, he's their pride and joy. But like the way Ireland, they're dubbing Ferguson. And I think it's unfair in Ferguson, because even now when he doesn't score or doesn't do anything, you think he's almost like he's letting himself down. But that's just because of the pressure on him. And I think it's very similar with Szoboszlai, and then a great start at Liverpool puts even more pressure on him. There's definitely a talented player in there. But I do think that comes with experience, and he will get better. I mean, Owen, we're going to ask you for your predictions before we finish. But how big of a game do you think this is in terms of the league? I mean, if Arsenal go to Liverpool and won, do they become title favourites? If Liverpool, say, smash Arsenal 3 or 4-0, are they favourites? I mean, or can you maybe not read too much on the one game?
I mean, whoever loses, if Liverpool lose, it's still only 4 points. And no matter what in the season, Liverpool and Arsenal will drop points again. And Man City aren't at their central and best, so they'll drop points. So I don't. If we won on Saturday, I wouldn't be saying we're going to win the league right out. if we lose on Saturday, I don't think we're out of it. So it is a big game, but I wouldn't be reading too much into this team's going to win the league if they won.
And that's why you're kind of thinking, if it's one of them games where it's tight, maybe don't open up too much and lose it, take a draw, move on. Keelan has a different mindset. He's like, it's you're at home against a rival, you have to win. But I do kind of see where Owen's coming from, Keelan, that it's a very open season. You know, a lot of teams in the mix, and at the minute there's no runaway. There's no team winning 6, 7 in a row. You know, if you draw this game, is it really one of them ones where it's not like, I remember when you come up against Man City, you almost feel like a draw. I think Gary Neville or Jamie Carragher said this week, almost like a draw in October. He felt like he lost the league. It's not that way this season, is it?
It's not that way yet this season. Don't forget the pictures have come out that Kevin De Bruyne is back in training.
Yeah.
You know, you get that there player back into your team for Man City. If it's a draw at Anfield this weekend, Man City go and win. What's the point difference then? Like, you know, and if it comes down to it, then as Arsenal, as Liverpool, very confident they can go to the Etihad, or is Arsenal confident they can go to the Etihad and win? Are we 100% comfortable that we can beat them at Anfield? Not entirely, because they're a great team. But I think in terms of Liverpool, Arsenal, and what the title race is, Liverpool need to win the game, or forget about it. Honestly, just forget about it.
A few comments coming on here. Darren reckons Arsenal only know one way they play, and they go 2-2. I think last season definitely, and you seen it when they went to Anfield and they thought, you know what, we're going to go and. But you look at the performance away at Newcastle, we had Villa, very disciplined, both beat 1-0.
Yeah.
Had chances, but you know, it wasn't an open game. It was very tactical. The one against Man City at home was a very tactical game. They won 1-0. A lot of Arsenal in the big games this season, a lot of them low scoring games, and they've either won or been done the other way. Callum reckons if Arsenal won, it'll be dubbed the Stidman 1. If Liverpool won, Arsenal's Anfield record will be used to talk it down. So again, maybe makes a great point that, you know, pressure is very much on Liverpool at home, and I think Keelan makes a point there, you know, that it is Liverpool. I mean, if both teams walk away with a draw on Saturday, obviously we don't know what's going to happen in the game, but on paper, Arsenal would be the happier team, would they?
Oh, 100%. It sort of reminds me of, obviously, Arsenal are a better team than United, but you've seen the way United were celebrating my point at Anfield, and I think if Arsenal get a draw at Anfield, they'll be coming out saying, you know what, we've beat Man City this year, we've drew with Liverpool, so they'll take out. But as I was saying, like, do you on podcast before, if I was told Liverpool were going to be in this position in December with this team, I would have bet your hand off, because it's a whole new midfield, like, and we're trying to figure out what's best for Trent, what's best for Nunez, as I say, the midfield. So I would have bitten your hand off at the start of the season for this.
Closing thoughts, Keelan, before we finish. I mean, what's going to happen on Saturday?
I think it'll be a high scoring game.
You think so, eh?
I think so. I think Arsenal remind me of Klopp's first year. Last year, Klopp's first year, it was when we first started to get things going, was very high scoring, conceding goals. You had to win by a lot of goals. I think Arsenal are still a young team, and I still think they don't have winners in their team. They don't, you know, in terms of real serial winners like Liverpool have produced and Man City. I think Arsenal.
Sorry, I think Darren makes a great point. The biggest factor is Van Dijk, the return to form. He's a leader, isn't he? I know Rice, they're saying about Rice, but Van Dijk's been there and done it. Rice is doing really, really well. He looks like a leader, but he hasn't smelt success other than West Ham's Europa League Conference. Premier League's different level. Liverpool do have that experience, don't they?
Yeah, especially look at Anfield. I mean, you know, we wouldn't be entirely confident going to the Emirates. Like, I mean, I'm sure they're pretty scared, and they're young. As I said, they're a young team. They are a bit emotional still. There's still that in them to be emotional, and I think if that kind of creeps in, if they get an early injury maybe or something like that, there, it's going to affect the whole tempo of the game, and I do think Liverpool will exploit it then. One thing will be interesting to see is if Diaz plays on the wing. I think he slows down play quite a lot. compared to his first season. His first season, he was immense, and since then, it's been a massive drop off, and he does the same thing. He reminds me of Lewis Palma. He reminds me of Lewis Palma at Celtic.
Because Gemma, your fans I'm watching here, so she is.
You're predicted, hello Gemma. So now it'll be interesting to see, but I'm look, I have to go on my heart. And I'm going for Liverpool. I'm going for a 3-1.
3-1. Owen, what about you? How do you see the game going on Saturday?
I sort of agree with Keelan. Like, if Arsenal get emotional and let it go to their heads, as I said, they're a young team. I do think we could exploit that. You seen that last season when they were 2-0 up, and then Xhaka went and made a mad foul on Trent, and the whole game just changed. So if something like that happens again on Saturday, I think we will exploit it. And I know I said I'd take a draw, but you have to go for a win in these games, as Keelan said. So I'm gonna go 2-1 Liverpool.
2-1 Liverpool. Lads, it's been fantastic to get your analysis ahead of the game. I think your analysis all night, to be fair, has been spot on. Super League, this game, and obviously you showed plenty of knowledge in the quiz. And tell you what, not easy to do, coming on live on camera and testing yourself. I think he's done really well and come out with a lot of credit. I know you're the winner one, but I think Keelan was brilliant as well.
No, he wasn't.
And if somebody had told me they were getting 12 before the show, I would have said that'll be hard to beat. And Owen, you've done really well to get the 17 you did. Lads, I think, unfortunately, for the neutral, this is going to be a tactical game on Saturday. I think the league being so tight, no team really has to go and win it. I think sparks will fly in certain times, but I do think it'll be very tactical. And I think it'll be, I wouldn't say overly entertaining, but I think it'll still be an entertaining game. But I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think it'll be tight. Both teams may have chances they won it, but I just think it'll be so tight. And you still cancel each other out in a way, because I don't think there's a lot between the two teams. Both teams have very different styles, very different strengths. But I think when you combine everything, there's not much between the two teams. And I think the two teams will be very much competing there towards the end of the season. Interestingly, the two teams play each other at the start of February. So they actually play each other now two times over the next 5 weeks. Obviously, they play each other in the FA Cup as well. I'm not sure we'll see the strength of the teams in that game, but I mean, so much to look forward to over Christmas. Loads of games. I mean, impossible to answer that, James. Obviously, anything can happen. Players can obviously overstep a mark, but
Arteta probably.
I hope not. I'd like to see 11v11 for a better watch. Lads, thanks for coming on. Crystal Palace lead Brighton at half-time in the M26 Derby 1-0. It's the first game to kick off this weekend. Loads of football this weekend. But look, lads, I'm looking forward to season Saturday for the football. We've got Spurs Everton on first, and we've got Liverpool Arsenal after. So we've fell nicely for a good Saturday to celebrate the podcast. I want to thank you both for coming on tonight. And I know Keelan, you were on before for your interview, and we spoke about that. And I know Owen really enjoyed that in a few hours. But Owen, I want to thank you for coming on as well. You've appeared a lot of times in the podcast, and tell you what, you're becoming a professional on the analysis side, because you've done really, really well compared to how you started off. Lads, thanks very much, and I'll catch up with you soon.
Thanks for having us.